Hello, fellow traders. This is TheRumpledOne. It is Friday, January the 21st. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly wrap up. As you all know by now, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Hopefully during this week you've used your risk management. I know I have. Definitely have used my risk management. I got myself into a couple of jams. Anyway, let's see. Where do we go from here? Let's take a look at the weekly chart, and we have two gaps that haven't filled. We can see that the price is 113 pips below the weekly open, 134 pips off the weekly high, and 10 pips above the weekly low. Doing some rat trades down here for sure. We take a look at the opening range for the week. You can see yesterday price poked its head in there, but then it came out, and we're heading back down towards the opening range for the month at the present time, which, just so you know, is also the opening range for the year, considering this is January. A quick peek here shows we are 29 pips above the yearly open, which is also the monthly open. So we're 30 pips above the monthly open we just clicked. Looking at the inside bar from 2 days ago, you see we had a break at 35.849, call it 35.85 to the short side. And looks like the rest is kind of history there. 28 pips below that daily low. As far as range goes today, the pound's only at 57 pips, but we do have some other pound pairs over 100. The daily open, we didn't get to the buy zone. And as you can see, the shorts or bears have been having their way with the pound for most of the day. Oh, this is interesting. Range too low. I had changed the range. This is the old setting. Wonder why that's there. I must have reloaded something. But we had changed the range. Definitely changed the range. So for some strange reason, this is loading up an old template. It's interesting. But we can see it's time for the green rats to possibly feast, because really we're looking more at a range around 50, 45 as opposed to the old 60. The pivot near S1 was called a long, and the first few times it worked, but then you can see we've crashed down. We almost got near the S2 here, and if we switch this over, we can see we are right at the weekly S1. This is the daily, but I think you can use these same. Actually, no, you can't. I have to change the indicator because this is working off a daily. I don't think that indicator has no, it doesn't have an input to change this to either weekly or monthly. Maybe I will make that modification. Give me something to do. Okay, for the pivots, we missed today's pivot. I was really targeting for that. I thought this thing was going to shoot above the 3,600 and hit the pivot, but it didn't. It reversed on me. And like I said, it's a good thing I had some risk management in place. Otherwise, I'd be down huge. The wick zone in and out. As you see, it poked its head through on the upside of the lower wick zone there, and then it just came crashing through. Once again, showing the power of the wick zone. Price likes to close outside of the wick zone. You can see that on the hourly, and we can switch this over to daily. And once again, 73 times out of the 73% or 733 times out of the last 1,000 days, we've closed outside of the wick zones. Looking at the range, a small range week, only 144 pips at the moment. It could extend. Anything can happen today, right? Compared to last week, see, we're only at the 16th percentile. That's really low over the past 12 weeks. So we'll have to see what happens next week. Might get an explosion one way or the other, because it looks like this week might be an inside bar. So that should be really interesting. We didn't break the high of last week, and we didn't break the low, and that's why it's an inside bar. High minus the close, though, average is 93, but we're at 136. Now 137, and close minus the low only at 7. So once again, rats. High minus the open on the week, only 21 pips, but that still would have been a nice buy zone trade. But the open minus the low, 123, nice short zone trade off of the weekly open. Once again, showing those opens are definitely lines you want to pay attention to and possibly take advantage of. And it looks like we're pushing down. We're only 6 pips off the low at 35.51. It was down to 45, which is the launch pad, and it did shoot back up a little bit, as you can see right here. It did shoot up. And if we switch over to M1, you can see it launched, and it actually launched from the 40s to the 60. That's something I usually expect it to do, and once again, it paid off. The Walmart lines, if you just traded the Walmart lines, you can see this hour short was called at 60. And the lower high, higher low, there was a nice trade here. In fact, I think I took this trade right there. And this is something that I really should have been paying attention to when it broke out of that short the first time. But you can see here, we've got breakouts. And actually, I just realized something. I could probably add the pip distance here, and then we could show as a gauge how far we've broken out. That might come in handy. Okay, we're back down to the 50. We got a 3 ball on the bottom of the H4 here. We got a 3 ball on the bottom of H1. You can see here though on the M30, it tried to cover the range, but it didn't quite. Got to about the halfway point and then back down. So this should be interesting this next hour or two. Yeah, at least the next hour. Then the big boys should be going home in New York, taking their long weekend, exiting out early on a Friday, probably going to the bar, getting drunk, right? Let's see. Was there any questions out there that I read that I didn't answer? I don't think so. But I see I have a new nemesis over on Kreslik, and I had to set the record straight. And just so you know, we're not going to tolerate any foolishness on Kreslik. So hopefully, if you just came there to pick a fight, you're going to be gone. I'm too old for that nonsense. 10 years ago, yeah, I would get in those battles because I'm from the East Coast and we don't back down. But now I just don't have the inclination to play like that anymore. So um, I've got the ultimate control, which is the ban button. I don't like to ban people, even if when they give me a hard time. But if you're just showing disrespect, that's not cool. Let's talk about trading. Keep the focus on trading, and not sit there and have a pissing contest. So anyway, it crossed the pound crossed the 50 line. You can see nice 55 right now. There was pips to be had right there. That signal. One of the things I was talking and trading with Walmart today because we were working on that EMA5 method, and there was something I learned off of him. He was trading, he had to get himself out of a mess, and I asked him to hit the Sonic or send me a Sonic, meaning the indicator that shows where you enter and exit trades. And he was telling me that he was watching it, and he was down. He says, "Well, I was watching price go down, and then I figured it would go back up." So, for example, here, if you were to take the trade right here at the lowest high, both times you'd have M5 candle color against you. You'd have H1 against you. But the thing is, if you're observing price action, you can see here, higher low, higher low. It came down, didn't make a lower low, didn't, and then turned right around. So there's an opportunity to jump in here and exit for a profit, and an opportunity to jump back in, and you could take another profit. So that's something I kind of picked up off of Walmart today. Um, it's it's just one of those things where I look at things one way, he looks at things a different way. Even sometimes when we're trading the same method, and that's how you learn. But the thing is, you have to have your risk management in place. And it was funny. He got in a trade, and I think he had to enter 5 more times. He had 6 trades on, but he was within his money management, and he managed to punch out, close everything with the profit. So you can just see, and you can just see here what happens with this price. And what you have to do is then when you're trading is just take a look and see at whatever method you're doing, if is there something else you can see and pick up and use it to your advantage. Now, will that work every time? No, but it will work um, enough times that you might be able to make a profit. But sometimes you have to figure things out on yourself, or you learn something from somebody else and you have to practice. Or you can sit there, you can observe it and say, okay, now I understand it. I think I understand it. Then you put it into practice because, our focus is on problem solving. So many of us, you get in a trade and it just seems, from the get go, it goes against you. I mean, it just does. And I think what happens is a lot of times by the time you hit click, the mouse to you wind up getting some drawdown immediately. Very rarely do I click the trade and the thing's moving so hard that I don't see drawdown. I just see green from the get-go. So it's just something that you have to be aware of and something you have to focus on and, figure out a way so you can trade successfully. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a profitable week. I hope you have a fun and safe weekend. And when you come back to your trading terminal, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One. Over and out.